Hi folks, Chuck here again. I often talk about horror literature on here. I like to read it, I like to write it, I like to talk about it. I also really love a good horror movie, and I thought today I'd come on and talk about horror movies, but not just horror movies that I really enjoy. Horror movies that I don't see a lot of love for out in the wild, despite the fact that I think they're absolutely amazing movies. And hopefully, if some of these sound interesting to you, you'll go and discover them yourselves. So, first one off the bat is this one here, The Autopsy of Jane Doe. It's been around for quite a while, and people in the know absolutely love it. And there are a lot of people who love this film, but I'm always surprised by how many people haven't heard of it. It is an intensely creepy film about a father and son who are working in a morgue, and take receipt of a body one night, a dead body, and slowly weird things begin to happen both during the autopsy and around the morgue. It's creepy. It's absolutely terrifying in places. It's also very bleak. Be warned. And I would recommend this to anyone. It's an absolutely fantastic horror movie, and I think more people should watch it. Before I wake, I heard about this somewhere online. I think when I was sort of Googling great ghost movies or things like that. It's not really a ghost film. It is incredibly good. It's basically about a couple whose son dies, and so they work through some of the trauma by adopting an 8-year-old boy. And as weird things beginning to happen around the house, they come to the realization that the boy's dreams and nightmares are becoming real. And there are, there's intense atmosphere, there's moments of absolute terror, and then it switches over to being incredibly sad. The resolution is one of the most astoundingly sad I've ever seen in any horror film. If you don't, what I'm saying is if you don't cry at the end of this, you're not human. In which case, why are you watching this? Go away. A very famous horror writer once told me that, a horror writer who wrote ghost stories mainly, once said to me that the thing about ghost stories for him was that they are at their core about loss, whether it's a loss of life or a loss of something that came with the existence before becoming a ghost or what have you. And this has exactly that feel. It's not exactly a ghost story, but it's got a lot of the same beats, and is another one that I think that every horror fan should watch. The Borderlands. This is a cult, but it's something of a cult classic, and only recently got released on Blu-ray after being out on DVD for quite a few years. It's a found footage horror film about basically a professional paranormal research group who get called out to a very old church in sort of rural UK to investigate what seems to be a miracle that's been filmed on the premises. And of course, things go absolutely horribly wrong. There's a real sense of growing doom in this. The location is as much a character as anything else, the church and their surrounds and all of that kind of thing. And it's really, really well done. A lot of found footage films, by their very nature, can start to feel a bit samey sometimes. This doesn't. It's very, very satisfying. It's very unpleasant in places, very frightening. Definitely worth a watch, in my opinion. This is a personal favourite of mine in terms of horror movies that, again, so few people seem to have watched, and I don't know why. Possibly because some people don't go for films that are billed as horror comedies. But this is a zombie film starring as the main zombie, the comedian Billy Connolly. So again, maybe I'm not. This isn't a comment on Billy Connolly, but maybe that's put some people off. But this is an incredibly good horror film. It's also a very good comedy film, and the comedy is so incredibly black. And I think a lot of people maybe don't understand that in many ways it's very black satire rather than just, waka waka stuff. Basically, the gist of it is that we never fought the Second World War. The Second World War, or what replaced it, was actually a war against the zombies. And mankind came out on top and was able to fit the zombies with collars that control them. And the action takes place in what appears to be an idyllic 1950s American small town, very very much a Pleasantville kind of setup, where some people have zombie servants. Essentially, they are the new, the new black, if you like, and the child who is the main protagonist in this, his family get a zombie. The wife, the mum is very much in favour of it. The dad absolutely hates zombies, doesn't want anything to do with them. But so it becomes a bit of a sort of a family, family issue dramedy. The thing about this is, as you can imagine, things do go wrong. It is actually a horror film. It's not just, a comedy film with horror tropes in it. As the film goes on, you start to see more and more of this idyllic 50s world and get to see more of the underbelly of it. And there's some incredible darkness there, which will eventually bring the viewer to the realization that, what do you actually call winning? If you win a war against the undead, it doesn't necessarily mean the whole world won. And there's a real sense of people kind of sticking their heads in the sand and going, oh, yes, we're living in this lovely, lovely, idyllic existence. And it really isn't. There's shades of, I guess, 1984, things like that. But it is, in places, absolutely hilarious. It is, in places, horrifying. There's some really nice world building. I mean, after all, it is an alternate history kind of film as much as anything else. And I would absolutely beseech you to search this out, Fido, and watch it. It's well worth it. And finally, The Dead Center. This is a very weird film. It's cosmic horror, essentially. And for those of you who maybe aren't quite sure what cosmic horror is, or have maybe heard it only applied to Lovecraftian stuff with, tentacled monsters from beyond, cosmic horror is basically horror that deals with the idea that humans mean absolutely nothing in the vastness of the universe, that their lives have no meaning, no purpose, that sometimes we have no free will, and that things that happen are just going to happen whether we like them or not. And sometimes that's, we find ourselves at the mercy of the universe itself. Sometimes we find ourselves at the mercy of entities that are so far beyond us that we can't understand them or understand their reasoning or their motivations or anything like that. And this is one of those. It's a slow burn. It's creepy as hell. Well worth a look. The guy who made this is a bit persona non grata these days. But that aside, it is still an absolutely magnificent film with some absolutely terrifying moments in it and an overall sense of growing dread throughout. Definitely worth a watch. Tell me what you think. Have you seen any of these? Do you agree with my assessment that they are hidden gems? Do you not? And if not, why? Drop a comment. Let me know.